It often happens quietly, without us even realizing it. You wake up one morning, swing your legs out of bed, and suddenly those legs that once carried you with ease feel a little weaker, a little shakier. Maybe it's harder to get out of a chair, or climbing stairs leaves you winded faster than before. For so many seniors, this creeping loss of strength isn't just frustrating, it's frightening. Because when your muscles weaken, your independence feels like it's slipping away too. And tonight, I want to talk about something that can truly change that. I want to talk about what you can eat in the night that could stop muscle loss in your legs and give you back that steady, confident stride you deserve. I remember one patient of mine, a retired teacher named Harold. He was 72 when he first came to see me, and he told me with a chuckle, "Doc, I never thought I'd need help just standing up from my recliner." But then he admitted his laughter was a cover. He felt embarrassed, even a little scared, about how quickly his strength seemed to be fading. And Harold isn't alone. I've seen countless seniors in my 30 years of practice who share the same story, slowly losing muscle, especially in the legs, and not knowing how to fight back. That's what brings us here today. For those of you who are new, my name is Dr. Nolan Easton. I'm a men's health specialist, and I've dedicated more than 3 decades to helping seniors just like you protect their health, their independence, and their dignity. And in this video, Seniors, Eat This in the Night to Stop Muscle Loss in Your Legs, I'm going to share what I've learned both from science and from real patients like Harold, so that you can take simple, practical steps that make a powerful difference. Now, why does muscle loss hit the legs so hard as we age? Think about it. Your legs are your foundation. They support you every time you rise, walk, climb, or balance. But after 60, our bodies naturally lose muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia. It sounds like a scary word, but it simply means the muscle fibers shrink and weaken with time. And the first place most people feel it is in their thighs and calves. That's why seniors often say their legs feel heavy or unsteady. But here's the encouraging truth. This isn't just something you have to accept. With the right nutrition, especially in the evening hours, you can give your muscles what they need to repair, rebuild, and stay strong. This is where Harold's story gets interesting. When he first came to me, he was eating what most of us might consider a normal diet: toast or cereal in the morning, a sandwich for lunch, and a light dinner of soup or salad. He told me proudly, "Doc, I keep dinner light so I don't gain weight." But that light dinner wasn't giving his body the fuel it needed overnight. You see, while you sleep, your body doesn't just rest, it rebuilds. Every night, your muscles go through a repair cycle. Tiny tears from daily activity get patched up and new muscle proteins are made. But without the right nutrition at night, that rebuilding process slows down and muscle loss speeds up. That's why if you're watching this and nodding because your legs feel weaker than they used to, I want you to lean in. Tonight, I'll tell you about specific foods you can eat in the evening to turn your night's sleep into a time of healing and rebuilding rather than wasting away. Because what you eat before bed may be the most powerful weapon you have against leg weakness after 60. Before I go further, let me pause for just a moment. If this message is already striking a chord with you, if you've noticed your legs losing strength, or you're worried about staying independent as you age, I'd like to ask you to do something simple. Please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss advice tailored just for seniors. And in the comments below, let me know, have you felt your legs getting weaker after 60? Just type yes or no. I read those comments personally, and your answers help me shape the guidance I give so that I can speak directly to your needs. Now back to Harold. When I explained to him that his body needed protein at night, the kind that would slowly release and feed his muscles while he slept, his eyes widened. He said, "You mean I should be eating more before bed?" And yes, in his case, that was exactly the missing piece. You see, protein is the building block of muscle. And when you give your body a steady stream of it in the evening, you protect your legs from that slow erosion. But not just any protein will do. Some are digested too quickly, leaving your body hungry again in just a couple of hours. What you need at night is protein that digests slowly, almost like a time-release capsule, nourishing your muscles hour by hour while you sleep. Imagine this. Instead of your muscles being starved overnight, they're being fed steadily, helping you wake up stronger rather than weaker. For Harold, I suggested a simple change. Instead of his light soup, I asked him to try something like Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of nuts or a small glass of milk with a slice of turkey. These foods contain casein protein, which is famous for digesting slowly and feeding your muscles through the night. And within just a few weeks, Harold began noticing changes. He told me one morning, "Doc, I got up from my recliner and didn't need to grab the armrest." That may sound small, but to Harold, it felt like a victory. It was his independence coming back one step at a time. And Harold's story isn't unique. I've seen men and women in their 60s, 70s, even into their 80s regain strength in their legs simply by adjusting what they eat in the evening. It doesn't take fancy supplements or expensive powders, just the right foods at the right time. Think about how empowering that is. You don't have to accept frailty as your future. You have the tools right in your kitchen to protect your legs and your freedom. And let me say this clearly, it's never too late to start. I've had patients in their mid-80s make these changes and still notice improvements. Your body is wonderfully resilient. It wants to heal. It wants to stay strong. All it needs is the right support, and you can provide that every evening with your choices. When Harold began making those evening changes, he also noticed something else. He slept better. At first, he didn't even connect the two. He came back after a month and said, "Doc, I don't know why, but I'm not tossing and turning all night anymore." That's the hidden gift of feeding your body before bed with the right foods. You're not only fueling your muscles, but you're also helping your body feel calm, satisfied, and ready for deep, restorative sleep. And sleep itself is like a secret ingredient in protecting your legs, because that's when the real rebuilding happens. Now, you might be thinking, "Dr. Easton, I've heard that eating at night is bad for you." And you'd be right if we were talking about greasy snacks, sugary desserts, or heavy fried meals. Those can weigh you down, upset your stomach, and even cause weight gain. But what I'm sharing today is the opposite. I'm talking about small, nourishing foods that actually work with your body's natural nighttime rhythm. Instead of burdening your system, they give it exactly what it needs to heal. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. Let's come back to that word, sarcopenia. You see, every decade after 40, the average person loses about 3 to 8% of their muscle mass. And for many, it accelerates after 60. That's why some seniors feel like their legs just aren't their own anymore. They tire faster, they don't respond with the same strength, and balance becomes harder. But here's something I tell every patient who walks into my office with this problem. Muscle loss is not an on-off switch, it's a dimmer. And you can turn that dimmer back up. With the right choices, you can literally rebuild what's been slipping away. I remember another patient, a woman named Marie. She was 69, a retired nurse, and she loved gardening. But her legs had gotten so weak that just a half hour in her yard left her exhausted. When she first came to see me, she sighed and said, "I feel like I'm watching my independence disappear." Now, Marie had always been careful with her diet, and like Harold, she thought eating light at night was the best choice. But she was unintentionally starving her muscles when they needed it most. I encouraged her to try adding a small portion of cottage cheese before bed, a food rich in that slow-digesting protein we talked about earlier. At first, she was skeptical. "Cheese at night?" she laughed. But within weeks, she felt the difference. Her energy for gardening came back, her legs felt sturdier, and her confidence blossomed again. She told me with tears in her eyes, "I got back out in my garden and didn't need to sit down after 15 minutes. I felt like myself again." That's the kind of transformation I want for you. Because it's not just about muscles, it's about what those muscles allow you to do. Your hobbies, your independence, your freedom to live on your own terms. Every strong step you take is a victory against time, and the food you choose at night can be your greatest ally in that fight. Now, I want to pause here to invite you again. If Marie's story resonates with you, If you've had to step away from something you love because your legs just won't carry you the way they used to, let me know in the comments with a simple yes. I truly do read your words. They're not just numbers on a screen to me. They're real people, real lives, and they help me guide what advice I share here. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon. That way you'll always have these senior health tips ready when you need them most. Another key point I want to share is this. What you eat at night doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler the better. Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, a glass of warm milk, a small handful of nuts paired with a slice of lean turkey. These are everyday foods you can find at any grocery store. But when you eat them at the right time, their effect is anything but ordinary. They work quietly while you sleep, repairing muscle fibers, strengthening your legs, and preparing you for tomorrow's activity. And here's where we circle back to something I touched on earlier: sleep. Because nutrition and sleep are like partners. When you give your body protein at night, you not only protect your muscles, but you also stabilize your blood sugar, which helps you avoid those midnight wake-ups. That deep, continuous sleep is what allows your body to release growth hormone, one of the very things that tells your muscles it's time to repair. So when Harold told me he was sleeping better, that wasn't a coincidence. It was part of the process, the very same process that helped him rise from his recliner with new strength. Think about how that could feel for you. Imagine lying down tonight, knowing that as you drift into sleep, your body is quietly working for you, not against you. Imagine waking in the morning with legs that feel just a little more solid, a little less shaky, and knowing you're building towards a stronger, steadier future. That's the power of something so simple as what you eat at bedtime. And I'll say it again, it's never too late to start. Whether you're 60, 70, or 85, your muscles still respond to care. They're waiting for you to give them what they need. Now, one more story that always sticks with me. A gentleman named Robert, 75 years old, who had stopped attending his weekly bowling league. He told me, "Doc, I just couldn't keep up anymore. My legs wouldn't let me." That broke my heart because I know how important those little rituals are. Bowling night for him wasn't just a game, it was community, laughter, joy. We made small changes. Protein at night, yes, but also staying hydrated and walking short distances during the day. 2 months later, Robert walked into my office with the biggest grin. "Guess who bowled a 142 last night?" he boomed. His legs had carried him back to the things he loved, and it all started with one small step: choosing to eat differently before bed. That's what I want you to hold on to. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to spend a fortune. You just need to make a small, smart choice each evening. Because in those choices lies your strength, your independence, your freedom. When Robert told me about bowling that 142, it reminded me of something I often share with patients. Strength is more than muscle. It's confidence. It's dignity. When you know your legs can support you, you feel capable of doing things that give your life joy. And when that confidence fades, it can steal more from you than weak muscles ever could. That's why these small nightly choices are so powerful. They don't just build stronger legs, they restore your spirit. Now, let's go a little deeper into why eating the right thing at night is so effective. During the day, your body is busy using energy. You're moving, thinking, digesting, doing chores, or maybe enjoying time with family. But at night, your body shifts gears. It moves into repair mode. That's when your muscles rebuild the tiny fibers that have been stretched and stressed during the day. And the truth is, without the proper nutrition, that repair process can't happen the way it should. It's like trying to fix a broken chair without any wood or nails. You need the materials. For your body, those materials come from protein, healthy fats, and certain vitamins and minerals that quietly do their job while you sleep. I want to take you back to Marie for a moment. Once she added cottage cheese before bed, her legs began to feel stronger, yes, but she also noticed something surprising. She had fewer nighttime cramps. You know those painful calf cramps that strike out of nowhere and jolt you awake? For Marie, they were happening 3 or 4 nights a week. She told me, "Doc, I felt like my legs were at war with me." After a few weeks of her new routine, those cramps almost disappeared. Why? Because foods rich in protein often come with minerals like calcium, potassium, and magnesium, which help regulate how your muscles contract and relax. So not only was she strengthening her legs, but she was also calming them, making her nights far more restful. It was like a double gift. This is why I always say the body is a miracle of design. When you give it what it needs, it doesn't just fix one thing, it fixes many. The same evening snack that protects your muscles also soothes cramps, balances your blood sugar, and helps you sleep more deeply. It's like planting one seed and watching an entire garden bloom. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, what if I'm lactose intolerant or I just don't like dairy? That's a fair question, and I hear it often. The good news is you have plenty of options. Almonds, walnuts, or pumpkin seeds can provide that slow, steady release of nutrients through the night. Pair them with something like hummus or roasted chickpeas, and you've got a plant-based evening snack that works beautifully. What matters most isn't the exact food, it's the principle. Slow digesting protein paired with a little healthy fat keeps your muscles fueled for hours while you sleep. Let me share another patient's story. Her name was Evelyn, 74 years old, and she lived alone after her husband passed. She confessed to me, "Dr. Easton, I've been skipping dinner most nights. Cooking for one just doesn't feel worth it." My heart ached when I heard that because loneliness and muscle loss often walk hand in hand. Without proper meals, her legs had weakened quickly and she worried about falling. So I suggested something simple. Keep a small container of roasted almonds on her nightstand, and every evening pair a handful with a slice of whole grain toast and peanut butter. No cooking required, no fuss, but powerful nutrition. 2 months later, she was brighter, steadier, and said, "Doc, I feel safer in my own home again." And really, isn't that what we all want? To feel safe, steady, and in control of our lives? This is the value I want you to take away tonight. By giving your body the right support, you're not just strengthening your legs, you're protecting your independence. You're making sure you can walk confidently, avoid falls, and keep enjoying the things and people that matter most. And all it takes is one mindful choice at night. Now, let me pause here for a quick moment. If Evelyn's story speaks to you, if you've ever felt like eating alone isn't worth the effort, I want you to write yes in the comments. Your voice matters. It helps me understand where you're struggling, and it helps me create videos that address those very concerns. And if you haven't yet, please remember to like this video, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. That way, these tips will always find their way to you when you need them most. Coming back to the science for just a moment, one of the reasons muscle loss accelerates after 60 is that your body becomes less efficient at using protein. That means you actually need more protein than you did when you were younger, not less. Many seniors make the mistake of eating light because they think it's healthier, but in truth, your muscles are hungrier than ever. That's why focusing on evening nutrition is so critical. It's like refueling your car, not just for today's drive, but for tomorrow's journey as well. Without that fuel, the engine sputters. With it, the ride is smooth. Another benefit I want to highlight is balance. Weak legs are one of the leading causes of falls in seniors, and falls can change a life in an instant. But stronger legs mean better stability, better posture, and better balance. I think of one gentleman, Samuel, who used to shuffle across his living room with a cane. His daughter brought him to me, worried he would take a bad fall. We worked on a simple plan: nightly protein, gentle leg exercises, and plenty of hydration. 3 months later, Samuel walked into my office without his cane, grinning ear to ear. He wasn't running marathons, but he didn't need to. He had reclaimed his steadiness, and that steadiness gave him back his peace of mind. Imagine how that could feel for you. To walk across your home without fear, to climb the front porch steps with ease, to enjoy an afternoon stroll with your partner, feeling strong and secure. These are not dreams. They are very real possibilities when you give your body what it needs. And the beauty of it is, the choice is in your hands every single night. So when you think about what to eat before bed, I want you to picture this. You're not just having a snack, you're investing in your strength, your safety, and your future. You're planting seeds of health that will bloom tomorrow and the day after. And every bite is a step toward a life where your legs carry you with pride, not hesitation. Samuel's story is one I'll never forget because it shows what's possible when you believe that strength can return even after it feels like it's gone for good. And as we close this conversation together, I want to bring everything back to where we started. The quiet, creeping loss of strength in the legs that so many seniors experience, and the simple nightly choice that can stop it in its tracks. When Harold first came to me, he struggled to rise from his recliner. Marie couldn't stay in her garden for more than 15 minutes. Evelyn skipped dinner because it felt lonely, and her legs paid the price. Robert gave up his bowling nights because he couldn't keep up. These were real people with real fears, fears of losing independence, of falling, of not being able to enjoy life's simple pleasures. And yet, with one consistent step, nourishing their bodies at night with slow digesting protein and supportive nutrients, they each found their way back to strength, to joy, and to confidence. I want you to imagine your own story in the same light. Think about the places your legs carry you, to the kitchen each morning for coffee, to the porch to wave at your neighbor, to the store for groceries, to church on Sunday, or maybe across the park with your grandchild. Now imagine doing all those things with greater ease, less hesitation, and more energy. That's not just wishful thinking, it's what your body is capable of when you feed it wisely at night. A small bowl of cottage cheese, a handful of almonds, a glass of milk, or a slice of turkey. These are not grand or expensive gestures, but they create powerful changes when practiced consistently. And let me be very clear, you are not too old and it is not too late. Your muscles are listening right now. They respond to the care you give them no matter your age. I've seen men and women in their 80s regain steadiness, sleep better, and walk with confidence again. It begins with believing that you are worth the effort, and then choosing to act on that belief every evening. Before we finish, I want to pause once more to invite your voice into this conversation. If anything I've shared in this video has touched you, if you feel a spark of hope or determination, please let me know in the comments with a yes. I read those responses personally, and they guide me in creating advice that speaks directly to your needs. And if you haven't yet, please remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and tap the bell icon. That way, every week you receive encouragement and guidance meant just for seniors like you. Now, as a doctor who has walked alongside seniors for more than 30 years, I know that the road ahead can sometimes feel uncertain. But I also know this: you have more strength inside you than you realize. You are capable of rebuilding, of healing, and of thriving. And it doesn't require complicated regimens